Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kemi, and I'm here to talk about Beyond the Gates Season 2, Episode 19. Now, before we begin, make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notification so you'll know whenever I post. All right, so we start the episode off with Vernon looking at his tablet. He's reading a article that someone had just posted about Martin, and it's like a hit piece. Dani comes over and then they start talking about the article. They start talking about the campaign. Then he's asking her, this smile that she has on her face, he can contribute it to Andre. And she's just like, no, not this time. It's the best. It's the masseuse, the best masseuse I ever had. So they start talking about maybe doing something like that for Anita. And Dani says, well, maybe we can do Reiki or Reiki. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but they can do that instead. So she says she's going to look into it for Anita. And then she also asked him if she can go with Anita to her next appointment or whatever, Vernon is just like, he's okay or whatever with that or whatever. So they start talking about something else and they mention Bill about something. And Vernon is like, but he's just like, okay, whatever. And so Dani has to leave because she has to go to a meeting. We see Bill on the phone. We'll stick with Vernon's story. So Vernon is getting ready to leave the club and he sees Bill stumbling. So he asks him if you good, and he's just like, yeah, no, I'm good. I just got a lot on my plate. They start Bill starts to reminisce about, the first time that Vernon ever brought him to the club. And Vernon was just like, you reminiscing about the first time I brought you to the club. And when I called you son, you were like the son that I never had. And he was just like, while you reminiscing about that, I'm reminiscing about the last time you brought me here. We played a game, we had fun, we hugged, we made plans, and the next day you destroyed my daughter's life. And Bill was just like, man, maybe it would have been better if I told you about it, all this other stuff. And Vernon was just like, he said, you put Dani on a pedestal to keep her from shining and then crashed her back down to earth once you were done with her. And it was just like, yeah. And this is why I don't understand why Dani wants to go back to this man or why she's even fool-la-line with him, because it was just like, that man put you through the ringer and you are just, it's okay. No, ma'am. Like he was just telling Tomas last week that the reason why y'all aren't together, the reason why he left you is because you didn't love yourself because you loved him too much. And she basically built him into who he is. And once he got to where he wanted to be, then he dumped her for somebody else. And it's just like, so Bill tells Vernon that, I made a mistake leaving Dani. And Vernon was just like, yeah, you did. And he was just like, I told you once that you were the son that I never had. And that was a lie because you're a liar. And you ain't ish to me. And he leaves. So we also see, this was earlier in the episode, we see Bill, he's talking to Chelsea and they're talking about the upcoming meeting that she's going to have with Lauren Finmore from Young and the Restless or whatever. And Chelsea is thanking him for, for the help and giving her the gift. And then they start talking about fashion lingo or whatever, or he says something about a fashion lingo. And Chelsea was just like, I didn't know you knew that. And he was just like, I was married to the most beautiful, your mom was the most beautiful supermodel in the world. And Hayley had walked in and heard him and slammed the door. So he got off the phone with her, and he apologizes to Hayley, and Hayley was just like, I know you're talking to your daughter. It's cool, da 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 da, all this other stuff. What I'm mad about is that you was asleep last night when I was trying to get some nookie. And he was just like, oh, sorry. And you look so peaceful and so good in that lingerie. I didn't want to wake you up. So that's why I left. That's why I left without waking you up or whatever. And Hayley is just like, well, shoot, since we didn't get no nookie last night, let me get it now. She pushes him down to the couch, and she's trying to take off his clothes and get it on. And he's just like, no, 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 I have a meeting to get to, da 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 da. So he, like, gets up, he goes to get himself together. She puts some more stuff in his drink, and when he comes back, she gives it to him to drink it. And that's why he was stumbling um when he had seen Vernon. We gonna get this out the way. We see Ashley, she flirting with Grayson. Derek comes in, he sees it, and he starts getting jealous and loud and being stalkery. And it's just like, sir. So Grayson is putting him in his place, and Ashley is looking like, oh, okay, I see this. And it's just like, all of this is just, you're not worth any of this, but whatever. This character is not, yeah, I just don't, but whatever. So Ashley is just like, I'm gonna take care of it. Derek, you doing the most, you about to get put out. And he's just like, he apologizes to Grayson. He apologizes to Ashley. He says he really needs to talk to Ashley. He knows they're not together no more, but she's the only person that he could talk to about stuff like this. So Grayson is just like, it's up to you. She's just like, okay, cool, I'll talk to you. So we find out that Derek is he has to retire. Like, he can't go back to being a firefighter because of what happened or whatever. So he got his walking papers. So it was a forced retirement, basically. So he's sad about it. And Ashley's giving him a pep talk and just like, you may not be a firefighter anymore, but there are other things that you can do. So she was just like, I'll help you. And he was just like, really? And she'll just like, as much as I can, but it's probably not gonna be much. And then, he's talking about, oh, how he can't be a hero and all this other stuff. And it was just like, so were you being a firefighter just so you could be a hero, or were you being a firefighter? I, I don't get, child. Anyways, so yeah, so they hug and Grayson sees them. We see, let's see, where do we want to go? We'll go here. We see Leslie, she's at Orphe Jeans, and she's waiting on Eva. So Eva comes in, and she's just like, I'm sorry for being late. I was waiting on some stuff for the I was waiting on some stuff for the office. What did you order me? And Leslie was just like, I was waiting on you. And she was just like, you don't ever wait on me. You always order. So the only reason why you would be waiting on me is because you up to something. What did you do? And um Leslie is just like, I can't just wait on my daughter. Why do you assume that I did something? And she was just like, because if it has to do with Anita, if it has to do with a certain articulate in her family, then yes, I think you did something. And she was just like, well, just to let you know, I didn't do nothing to her. Da 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 da. I'm just thinking about the love of my life and when we gonna get back together. And Eva's just like, so you did something to Shanice. Like, girl, like, they're happy. He, like, I thought you were with the cop or whatever and all this other stuff. And she's telling her, if you ever get the urge to, if you ever get the urge to um oh, when she said something about the man of my dreams, Eve was just like, I can't believe it's Marcel. And she was just like, girl, no, it's Ted. And she was just like, but he's dating Shanice. And then that's when she figures out, oh, so you did something to Shanice. And she was just like, are you getting cuffed this Valentine's season with like cuffing season or handcuffs? And she was just like, if you ever get the urge to attempt, again, call me. And it's just like, anyways, so she was just like, I know there's no AA for that, but I could be your AA. Like, come to me if you ever get that urge. And Leslie was just like, so you're gonna make me a coin? And she'll just like, if I have to, I will. And it's just like, again, you know, you know, at this point, you're grown. Your mom is not influencing you in any type of way. You are for the shits and you are okay being with the shits. So I need you to stop acting like your mom did something. Your mom made you be for the shits because she didn't. Because you are actively participating in it at this in this in this season. So we are at Uptown and Kat comes in and again she putting 20 on 10 about her mama. And she's talking to Chelsea about it. And she's just like, so many things have changed. Like, mama, I should have shown you I should have let you see a picture of my mom in this dress, da 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 da. And um Chelsea is just like, oh, your mama getting her groove back. I love their scenes. I love them together. So, she trying to talk her down. And so they talk about Madison, and Chelsea tells her how she low key proposed, but it wasn't in a good way. And Kat was just like, "Girl, what did you do?" Like they play so well off of each other. I love it. So she tells her what happened and how Madison was gonna leave and she just threw a Hail Mary pass like proposal. That's why she ain't got no ring. She said no, and she's just like she doesn't know what to do. Um, Chelsea's just like, I mean, Kat's just like, okay, we gonna figure this out. We gonna do some things so that we can get y'all back on track. They see Dani and Izaiah walking in, and they're wondering what was going on with them. So Dani had the meeting with Izaiah, so she basically wants to offer him to be a model, and she's giving him her spill on why he should become a model. She, rubbing on his arm, flirting with him, and Kat and Chelsea are just looking like, what is going on here? What are we doing? I was just like, they are a mess. Um, so what else happens? Um, yeah, so she gives Isaiah her spill on why he should become a model and what he can do with it. And he says, I'll think about it or whatever. So she goes and she sits with she goes I guess she's on her way over there, but she overhears them talking about the proposal and she's excited. And Chelsea tells her, no, don't be excited. She said no. And she's just like, why'd she say no? And then she's just like, I don't want to talk about it, but I just need a way to fix this or whatever. So she was just like, all right, cool, we'll put our heads together. I'll cancel my meeting with Pamela. And Chelsea's just like, no, I just want to go to the spa, decompress, and then we'll figure it out. So she gets up to leave. She asks Kat if she's gonna come, and Kat's just like, no, I'll still work on this proposal. And then she asks Dani to give her some advice and some tips on her way to the car. So they leave. We see Chelsea at the club, and she runs into Bill, and Bill is looking all sad and whatnot. And he tells her about his run-in with Vernon, and she reassures him, and he's saying, he's trying to make amends. She reassures him and she tells him that she loves him, and she leaves to go to her meeting. I mean, to her spa. Bill had got a text from Madison saying that she wanted to run some tests. She had moved up his appointment and it's tonight and she wants to run some tests. So we see Hayley after Bill had left her or whatever to go to his meetings. She's at the coffee house and she runs into Lynette, and they're talking. And as they're talking, Dani walks up, and what's it called? Hayley is just like, me and my friend got this table. And Dani is just like, your friend? Is this one of those AI bots? Like, real life human robot? Like, what's going on? And Lynette is starstruck, so she's not saying anything. And Dani's just like, I think she broke. I was just like, Dani is a mess. So Lynette is just like, you're like the most prettiest woman that I've ever met. Like, I'm just like starstruck right now. Like I don't know what to say. And Danny is just like, oh, thank you. And let me give you some advice. This is a viper. Don't leave nothing around her because she'll steal it, basically. And she leaves. And Lynette is just like, oh, you wasn't playing. These people is crazy up in here. So we see Kat, she goes to talk to Isaiah. So she goes to give him advice on, she to accept the modeling gig or whatever. She's like, telling him like what he can do, like, he can use the money to help the kids that he like, do stuff with Banneker or whatever. He can also use it on himself, like, just whatever. And so they're talking, and then she's like, she's telling him, I was just telling Chelsea, like, so much has changed in the last year. Like, you can't take things for granted or something like that. Like, they start laughing about stuff. And as they're laughing about it, because she said, you should become a model for, like, or I forgot what she said. She said something, and they start laughing about it. And Eva comes in and she sees them, and then she has this face, she has this stank face on. And that's how the episode ends. So, yeah. But yeah, so this episode was cute. This was a cute little Friday episode. Yeah. I can't with Eva and her mama, but it is what it is. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notifications so you'll know whenever I post. Go ahead and get down in the comments. Tell me what you guys thought of this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one.